This 2025 year for Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers is a massive one. It's not just for him, it's for the organization as a whole. And the reason why I say is this. After the 2025 season, Bryce Young will have completed 3 years in the NFL. He'll be eligible for a contract extension. Not only will he be eligible for a contract extension, but it's also a decision that the Carolina Panthers organization has to make regarding if they want to pick up his fifth-year rookie option. For those who don't know, in the NFL, if you're a first-round pick, teams have the ability to add a fifth year to your rookie contract. All rookie contracts, if you're a drafted player, are 4 years in length. The fifth year can be added onto a rookie's contract if they are a first-round pick. And that first-round pick, if they get that fifth year, that money is guaranteed. The rule used to be it was only guaranteed for injury, but now the league has made the change and amended the rule saying that if you pick up a player's fifth-year option, that salary is fully guaranteed no matter what. And the reason why I bring that up is, for example, Daniel Jones, first-round pick right out of Duke to the New York Giants. After his third year, they did not pick up his fifth-year option. But then in that fourth year, though, in that final year of his rookie deal, Giants make the playoffs. Granted, it was Saquon Barkley doing a lot of the work at running back, but they made the playoffs. And now they felt like, dang it, now we have to sign this guy to a contract extension because you didn't have that fifth-year option as a cushion. So now you have to sign him to this contract extension because you feel like you have to keep this guy. You don't want to use the franchise tag on him and so forth. And that's where we get the 4-year, $160 million deal. And look how that's turned out for the Giants. It hasn't. So that's why I say 2025 is so big for Bryce Young, not only for himself, but also for the decisions of the franchise moving forward. Bryce Young was last week during Radio Row Super Bowl was on with Kay Adams. Up and Adams with Kay Adams is the name of the show, part of FanDuel Sports Network. Talked about that end of the season, that Week 18 game against the Atlanta Falcons, where he factored in for 5 touchdowns. Ran for a couple, threw for 3 of them. What it meant for him to have that statement performance at the end of the year.
I'm super grateful for that. I think it was just as a team we wanted to make a statement. We wanted to make sure that we finished on our own terms. Coach Canales is always talking about finish. That's kind of just a theme for us, a mantra, and something that we try to live by. And obviously we knew that was going to be the last game of the year. And I was just so proud to be a part of a team like that. With that, knowing that it's off season next week, no one phoned it in. There was no lack of confidence or lack of focus throughout the week, and then on Sunday you can go out there and just think about, have a foot in the parking lot, think about the off season. But for us to battle, pull out a game in OT, it means something to everyone. That was something that I was super grateful to be a part of.
It was a heck of a performance to end the year, and that hopefully carries momentum for him and the team going into the off season, especially knowing that you have the same play caller, same head coach, pretty much your entire offense is intact and coming back. That's a big thing for a young quarterback. But again, there comes in the question of what Dan Morgan, the general manager, what does he think of Bryce Young as a long-term prospect, a long-term projection? A lot of that is going to be dependent on what he does in 2025 in terms of what Bryce Young's future is. But the way Dan Morgan has to anticipate this is if Bryce Young plays like a quote-unquote franchise quarterback, and you are anticipating that after the 2025 season, you are signing him to a big-time contract extension, i.e. what Trevor Lawrence got after his third year, which is about $55 million a year for Trevor Lawrence, another former number 1 overall pick. When you're signing that big-time contract extension, the decisions that you make this offseason have to have that potential decision in mind because all the money that's going to get added in the future. You have to take those things into consideration. Bryce Young did talk about what general manager Dan Morgan, their relationship, but also that open line of communication that Bryce Young has with the GM.
He's always asking me stuff. He wants me to send him things and give him my opinion, which I'm super grateful for. Him having that open mind, having an open line of communication, wanting to include me in things, that means a lot. That goes a long way for me. He's done a great job, so I'm super grateful.
So he has that line of communication with general manager Dan Morgan, but also Bryce Young has a growing and building relationship with Dave Canales. And Dave Canales, after 2 games as a head coach, made a not easy decision to bench Bryce Young. Like, hey, trust me, Dave Canales is fully aware that guy was the number 1 overall pick the year before, and a lot of people are expecting Bryce Young to be a franchise guy. Bryce Young also talked with Kay Adams about his relationship with head coach.
I'm super grateful for Coach. He's always just someone who's so consistent. I have so much respect for that. He's consistent in his personality, consistent in his beliefs. And, especially in a position like that where you're the head coach, it's hard to do. Sometimes you can wear your emotions on your sleeve. Sometimes you could be high and low, and the team can kind of see that. But the level of consistency he has, not only for the team, but for us and in our room. He's in the quarterback room, so I get to hear all of his insights, hear what it is that he has to say. So having that presence is something that is great for me and my development. I'm excited to keep building.
2025 is going to be a massive year for Bryce. And again, it impacts the decisions of Dan Morgan regarding everything else. Believe it or not, Jalen Hurts is the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era to win a Super Bowl making $50+ million a year on average. That chews up a big chunk of your salary cap. So the decisions that Dan Morgan makes around that has to be with the fact, at least have to keep in mind, knowing at some point you might have to be paying Bryce Young a massive contract extension. And just also what the market dictates. It's also just what the market dictates. We'll talk about the market here in a second, but here's Bryce Young talking about what it's like having confidence from the organization going into next year.
It means a lot, just knowing how to operate, how to move forward, just getting that bolt of confidence from the organization, from everyone. I'm super grateful for that. And then it's just time to parlay that into success, of course, just as a team. I'm super excited because we all understand the work that it's going to take, and we're all excited for that. We all have that the attitude of just wanting to get better throughout the offseason for next year, wanting to build, want to continue to grow. I'm all in. Everyone's all in. I'm grateful to just get back to work and continue building.
This is the going rate for quarterbacks right now. I'm just looking at average annual value of contract. Dak Prescott, $60 million a year. Joe Burrow, $55. Jordan Love, $55. Trevor Lawrence, $55. Tua Tagovailoa, $53.1. Jared Goff, $53. Justin Herbert, $52.5. Lamar Jackson, $52. Jalen Hurts, $51. That's the going rate for a QB. So the free agent choices that Dan Morgan makes, the trades, whatever it is that he does this offseason, has to keep in mind that $55-ish million, that's the going rate right now. We don't know what Brock Purdy's going to sign for as a free agent this offseason. I mean, he's under contract, his rights are under control with the San Francisco 49ers. But that's only going to move up. The market's only going to move up further. That's just the way things are when it comes to the QB price tag. It's just what the market dictates. That's it. Whether you think he's worthy of it or not. So people that are clamoring for, hey, go get T. Higgins, go break the bank for that guy, or Myles Garrett, well, you're going to have to pay him. And you also have to anticipate that Bryce Young's going to get paid, and you have Robert Hunt's big contract, and Damian Lewis, and you might have to sign J.C. Horn, and you might sign Ike Ekwonu to long-term extensions as well. Where does the rest of the money fall? All things that Dan Morgan has to take into consideration. It's not just a Dan Morgan putting together a roster for 2025. He has to think about 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028.